We're walking through the international flag display at Commonwealth Place, in the center of the National Triangle. Originally launched in 1999, by the Governor-General, the Honorary Sir William Dean, the display has 110 flags in total that are now flown, representing 108 missions that have a diplomatic presence in Canberra, as well as flags of the European Union and the United Nations, each identified by a plaque at the base of each flagpole. Okay, we're now at the National Capital Exhibition, where I'm interested in clearing up a fact in regards to the design of Canberra, so here goes. It all starts with the backstory of both Walter Burley Griffin and his wife Marion. Born in Chicago in 1871, Marion Mahoney Griffin was the second female architect to graduate from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology as a landscape architect and artist. During her time in college, Marion forged lifelong relationships with other women at MIT. A handful of her friends referred to Marion and themselves as the Round Robins, after the style of letters they exchanged for over 40 years. After graduating from MIT, Marion found work as a drafter in downtown Chicago's Steinway Hall, which housed the offices of Dwight Perkins, an architect, and Marion's cousin. The offices were shared by Frank Lloyd Wright, who ultimately hired Marion as his first employee. For the time, this was an unusual move. She was the first woman in Illinois to obtain a license to practice architecture. Marion was no shrinking violet in Wright's office. She was known for her wit, her refusal to bow to Wright's ego, and her loud laugh. In 1895, Marion joined Wright's Oak Park studio, which is where she initially encountered her future husband, Walter Burley Griffin, and married him in 1911. Despite any inclination from her, it was difficult to separate the architect and artist from either of her work husbands. That is, Marion's metaphorical work husband, Frank Lloyd Wright, and her actual husband, Walter Burley Griffin. Some women work solo and some work in teams, but Marion was a team player. This is where it becomes a tad more interesting. Walter and Marion came to Australia in 1914, having won the Australia Federal Capital Competition, to design Canberra. Marion's mother said that in a relationship, one partner is the talker and the other is the listener. If that's the case, it seems like Walter Burley Griffin was the listener to Marion as the talker. Griffin was clearly a strong designer, and ostensibly a mostly decent husband to Marion, but personality-wise he seemed like a step down from Frank. But even if that's the case, Marion didn't care. She set her sights on Walter, and then spent her life honoring him. By the way, that question I had at the beginning of this segment was, who actually designed Canberra? Although it's a slightly ambiguous answer. Here it is. Although Walter and Marion both designed Canberra, Walter Burley Griffin stated that ultimately Marion was the brains and had more design input, and he was the businessman. Well, there you have it.